Yasu. Huh? I practiced this from morning. Did I say it right? It's Yasu? Yeah. Okay. Yasu. This talk is about DevSecOps. I chose this title, Let's Automate Some Security Tasks in Pipelines, because it sounds practical. DevSecOps is a new hyped concept and name that in past few months we've seen it a lot. I started researching about that maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and there was like 2-3 videos about that. Now there is a lot more. My name is Abdo. I'm in an R&D team at Liana Technologies as a security engineer. Basically, this talk is my journey to adopting DevSecOps in our environment. Liana Technologies is a cloud-based service for marketers in Finland. Our headquarters is in Oulu, north of Finland. So it's very cold there. Yes. Basically, this talk is a white hat talk. We've been through red team, blue team, purple team, and this is a white hat. I even have a almost white hat here with me, but I'm not gonna put it. Yeah. I did a DevOps talk a few months ago in BSides Ljubljana, and I got this feedback after the talk. Back then I had much less experience about it. Because DevSecOps is, when you say to a developer or security team personnel that DevSecOps, they go defensive. It's so vague. They say, how we can have that? They bring up these problems. They say, basically we want to put security tests in our product pipeline. When we have CI, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and after all these things, we have the product, and then we start the security test. But when we put security tests in a pipeline, we have a lot of data in each run. We have a lot of false positives, and most of the people say, okay, our company haven't even adopted DevOps yet. How we can have DevSecOps? We're going to be through these things and trying to address them. So the agenda is I go through some basic concepts and the goal, the challenges, and how we can achieve a DevSecOps, and when we can say we succeeded in DevSecOps in integration, and some tools that we're working with. Well, when I started working with on these slides, at the same time I saw this tweet. Well, the fire is Jira and security team, release manager, sysadmins, network engineers. Everyone is trying to put down that fire in Jira. And well, the only meme that came to my mind was this: any fan of Iron Maiden? Yeah. They have a tour right now. Make sure to be there. Yeah. So, how we manage to have DevSecOps when our DevOps is not there yet? Maybe you say we don't. I was thinking the same, but after that, I realized that we never get to the point that say, okay, our DevOps is there and we're done with configuring it. DevSecOps and DevOps in always a healing, adopting, and a healing process. It's always getting better. So even if we don't have a running DevOps, we can start shifting security to the left, and we can start having a DevSecOps and configure our DevOps and DevSecOps together. If all these things sounds very vague, and we're gonna go through it, it makes sense a little bit further. So DevSecOps is development, security, and operations. Three main departments in a programming, in a product, in a software programming company. DevSecOps make them work together hand in hand. Well, it's not that easy. So what do we want? Right now, security team makes a checklist and security team says, do this, do that. But that's not a good approach because in the end, developers want to make a new feature and release it and release faster. DevOps is making development agile, but security is slow. Security can't catch up. So at some point, you accepting some risk to releasing our products until it's time to pen test, and then we do the security. That doesn't work. We need to actively promote, talk to developers, and keep in mind our business requirements. Well, yet, DevSecOps is all about shifting to the left. What does that mean? It's secure your product early and often. Shifting to the left makes security, gives security some visibility. What does that mean? It means developers, I have a developing background and I have a sysadmin background and I always been enthusiastic security researcher. So when you develop, you don't know what's going on with the security. Security team pen test and they generate hundreds pages of reports and they give it to you and you have no idea what's going on there. And even you find some bugs that make sense, most probably you already patched them or they're false positive. But when you as a developer creating the bug, if you manage to get the problems and bugs right after you push it to that pipeline, you can do better. As I said, I'm in the process of integrating DevSecOps, and as much as I do, I realize that we have this security concept on every level of software production. So it's the same thing, but we adding the security to it. What's obstacles? Obstacles are culture and infrastructure. Infrastructure of these tools that we need to configure. That's the easy part. If you ask me, the culture is the hard part. What does that mean, the culture is the hard part? Because developers, as I said, are writing code, and they just need to produce software and release it. And every time a security engineer walks in and say, okay, I'm security, everyone goes away, trying not to talk, hide themselves. But if you walk in and say, okay, I'm a developer, they start talking to you. This culture needs to be changed. What is the old way of us doing security? We do a static code analysis every now and then. Well, right now it happens to me a few weeks ago. There was this tool, PHP, and we ran it against our product, and there was like millions of errors and bugs, and going through them is just headache. Deep application scan after maybe a few months, a year, and having a yearly pen test is in standard right now. It doesn't work really. It doesn't secure. We are accepting some risk. We need to solve that. Well, this is security. Anyone remember that scene from Brazil series? Yeah, but this is what happens to our security right now. That's the bug, and yeah. The new way, a static code analysis on every commit, developer push, even pre-commit hook. With a little pre-commit hook, a developer, even after they push, they can see their bugs, their problems that can be automated. Security scan on each pipeline run. And gathering information and statistics and graph it. And these metrics are very important. We're gonna go through them a bit later. So yeah, we automated the scans, but processing the results, as I said, is most important one. I managed to put as much meme as I could in this. Yeah. Because it's afternoon, like everyone's tired. So where to start? It seems very hard to start doing DevSecOps, but it's not really hard because, as I said, the most problematic part is a culture problem. So we need to start talking to developers and make them realize that they're making the bugs. And they can be the best person that find it and fix it, and we are there to helping them. We are in this mess together somehow. It's not this separating security team and developer is becoming an old-fashioned thing right now. Yeah, teach devs to think about threats and model them. Threat modeling is a thing that going together with DevSecOps. But making a solution for DevSecOps is completely different on each environment. Each company doing things differently for themselves, and you can't have a solution and that can apply to every environment, every company. You should think about the procedures and processes that happens in each company and try to implement, adopt DevSecOps in that. I categorized the tools in 3 categories: developer point of view, operation point of view, management point of view. All I said before was all of them working together, so why I separated them? This is just point of view. These are the same tools on each category that they work with. So the procedure going left to right and up to down. From far left of the security, we have a static analysis, pre-commit hook. This is the far left. It's not even in the pipeline. We have a static analysis. On the far right, we have full-blown pen test. That pen test can be business logic that narrows down to one feature. It's not like that right now. The full-blown pen test everything right now. That's very expensive. So we cover most of the areas, attack areas, and DevSecOps on the pipeline. On the pipeline, we treat modeling, continuous security tests, and bug bounties. So up-down, we code, we deliver it in our pipeline, and then we scan test in our pipeline, and then we have a feedback loop. That feedback loop helps us have an understanding of what's going on. Helps management, developers, and operation to have an understanding what's going on in there. So we start with the developer point of view. When you start developing, even I do that sometimes right now. Even in your development test, you have to take care of security. We have a kind of environment orchestration tool. We developed it. Our CTO developed it, Jarkko Hapalainen. That it's with PL6 platform. It's a tool to manage single project or a tightly coupled project with containers. So you basically write a YAML file configuration, and then you have all of your environments in there for development. So we said in far right, we need to take care of our developers. What does that mean? Our developers have an environment. They need to install the application they're developing and they're local, and they need to test it. So a standardization of that environment is important. Having a tool that they can install, bring up, bring down their environment fast and automated is important. So we can have all those tools that we need. They work with static analysis, like static analysis and pre-hooks. All those can be configured in this tool. So with PL6 platform, we can have pre-committed static analysis, test case, and all the other things, the whole development environment. So yeah, simple is not easy. It's just beautiful. So now we're going to operation part of that part of the work. Now we're in a pipeline. We need to set our scanners, Zap or Burp, whatever, in our pipeline, and scan our application when it's run in CI/CD. BDD security is one of those. Mitten from F-Secure, one other one, and both of them works with behavior-driven development scenarios. So you need to write your scenario, your attack, and it just tests that part of the application for that kind of attack. Another way you can do that is just run the crawler and the whole scan against the part of the application you developed. We developed another tool called a scanner. We're gonna go through that after this slide, and this is our pipeline. Next slide is we're going inside the CI/CD in the center. Here, after developer pushed, they have a pre-commit hook, goes to version control. We gather metrics, static and dynamic tests. After that, CI/CD server, again we gather metrics and artifacts goes to artifacts repo, and issue tracker is feedback loop, and we have a dashboard of metrics. After that, we have environment, test, staging, and production environment. Each of those has its own metrics and tracking and test cases. Inside CI/CD, basically, developer pushes and we have test case. It goes through Selenium and Burp, and then after deployment into a stage or production, a scanner or project runs, and after that it scans the deployed application and sends the report, and then we have a feedback loop, new ticket to our GitHub or GitLab. Scanner is a Python-based command line tool. Well, yeah, this is a simple Selenium configuration that we basically browse the application, log in, and then all of those logs into Burp. The very basic configuration for that is a 3-stage unit test, deploy, and security test. After a scanner runs in our GitLab, we have the issues that will send to ChatOps. Any chat system you have, here is the Mattermost, and then we have a new ticket with security issues for our developers. So basically, if you're a developer, you start hating me because you pushed and then you have a new ticket automatically that shows, well, you have a problem, and probably your team leader needs to sign off. It's not going to deploy. But in this environment that we deploy maybe hundreds times in a day, having this is very important. So basically, we scan, process the results, and report it. What happens to that report? We have a lot of artifacts and a lot of metrics. That's the important point. That's what makes business go through, makes everyone make sense what's going on in our environment. Well, Elk stack on steroid. It has a lot of Kafka, Hadoop, Spark. Next is Grafana. You can basically graph your metrics. It's an open source dashboard for graphing, produce beautiful things like this. Next is Prometheus, to gather all the metrics from around our environment. Well, yeah, after you automated your security test, you think that you have less job to do, but actually you still have a lot of things to do. It's just different because DevSecOps helps you actually secure your environment. Yeah, sometimes with DevSecOps we try to secure our pipeline from very beginning to very end, that fall left and fall right. But the problem is there is a lot of false positive. There is a lot of noise. We need to reduce it. You guys are security professionals. You read a lot of security reports. What's the most security bugs we see in the reports? Anyone? XSS. It's still XSS. Why we still have XSS problem? XSS, almost all the frameworks have every mechanism to not having XSS bug, but we still have XSS problem. Because, well, it's Friday night, the developer is at work still, the developer working on a problem for the whole week, tired, it's 6 p.m. and everyone left at the company, they're still working, he's there, he's figuring out the problem, his friends messaging him or her that, well, yeah, we have a plan for tonight, but that developer need to patch it and work it out, and it knows the solution. The developer code it and push it, and in that situation we produce the bug under the pressure. And if you say one afternoon like that with a company with 100 developers, in a year we produce a lot of bugs. We know how to patch it, but in that situation we still produce the bug. So finding the root cause of the problem is very important. Why we have a lot of XSS problem or any other problem. So if we give a dashboard like that Grafana dashboard and put it in a big screen in the company and show all the results that we produce from DevSecOps and show it to so they can see what's happening with the security. That's when the visibility shows off. Visibility of the security shows off what's going on. And well, don't put it on the main lobby because everyone gonna see who produced most bugs. It's an internal thing, but showing that to developers can help a lot. With this with this solution, we empower developers. With these metrics, we empower developers to understand and management to deliver business, make money. After all, that's the whole point of security. Why we need to secure? Because if we don't secure it, we lose money. The money is the whole point of the thing. With these metrics from DevOps and security, we empower management and developers to have a direct hand in security and securing their product. And maybe we have this famous line. After all, security is byproduct of culture. We have this famous line that hackers are always one step ahead of us as a security engineer. Well, if we connect our security in a gateway, like our firewall and WAF, connect those logs, those metrics to our metric in DevSecOps from pipeline, maybe when an attack comes, we connect it, correlate it with our logs in the pipeline, and we send a new ticket. It's in a Nirvana DevSecOps board. Send a new ticket to the developer, and they patch it. Maybe in that case, we managed to become finally one step ahead of hackers. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you. Any question?